going to be talking about how people can have an idea about you. They think they know you, and then they don't want to work with you for that reason. My name is Christine, and I do help people who are building their businesses be able to hit the cliff notes of it. I will plug you into system and give you the exact step-by-step process on how to do something, and it's up to you to follow it. I personally mentor and groom those who are working directly with me as coaches within my network marketing business, but I train and will personally help you guys personally, virtually. So I will put all this content out there for you guys, and go have at it. And this topic is about how people may not want to work with you for that reason, that they don't know you. So a lot of people think that you could be intimidating. Look at it. I love how many different opinions people have of you by the perception of what you have out there. So that's the key. It's the perception of what you have out there, your message. And it's about telling your message and your story. I could talk about that in a big, long sense, but I just want to bring this to awareness because, if these people are having that idea about you, which of course you can't correct everybody's, obviously, and sometimes it's not worth correcting. But if you are constantly fighting the fight of a wrong message about you or a wrong stereotype, or like someone saying that they are not a natural bodybuilder when they are. So if you're constantly having that struggle of correcting people's perception of you, and that when they meet you, they're like, oh my gosh, you are nice. I thought that you were mean. Then you got some work to do. What's your work that you have to do is putting it out there more often. And honestly, I'm going to tell you this big secret here. Periscope is the best. Facebook live stream. So if you can do Facebook live stream, do that too. But if you can do any live streaming, that is going to help you come across real. Now, for instance, the person with the natural bodybuilder, that's, of course, a very challenging one because, of course, me being in the fitness industry, I know that how can you prove that you're not other than keep showing them test results? But even those can be doctored. I'm not saying that. That's what they do. So realistically, do you care? You just got to keep living the life that you are and showcase that you are living by the terms that you want to be natural. Basically, that's it. Because you can't prove there's no syringes up in your house. That's the thing. So when you are trying to put it out there and change a misconception, one of the easiest things you can do is this live environment. So live streaming is going to be a good point because now you're in conversational mode. So let me know. People who had a wrong idea about you or a wrong, stereotype about you, did any of them get to meet you and get to know you and then say, you're totally not like that because they spoke with you in person? Did that happen with anyone? That when those people that had the wrong idea about you then met you and spoke with you, did they change their idea of you? And a lot of you guys have answered yes. One of the biggest reasons why people will connect more with you is when you can be as connected real to them. So most of the time, people's idea of you or their misconception of you is changed when they met you in person, when they had a real life, when they saw you standing there yelling at your kids and they're like, oh, they're just like me. They yell at their kids too. They're not perfect. So that's where live streaming is going to help you. That's one huge tip because now this is life. I mean, if you guys were on with me last night, I chose to do it in the dining room, which was a big fail mistake. And I had my dogs like fighting, like, rah, 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 so loud. And I'm like, this is just terrible. Then the other time I had a bad lighting episode as well. I got to figure out what's going on with the light. So people have a wrong idea of you. So if you can try to put yourself out there in a real life situation as much as possible, that is going to be one huge tip. The second big tip is to be more real. So lots of you guys, when you put up your message in there, lots of you guys said they think I only eat salads. They think I run all the time. They think that I work out all the time. That if they have this idea of you that you are obsessed in this world, or that you are perfect, or that you are stuck up, then you have to start to put your content out there to show how human you are. You have to show your fails. You have to show your struggles. You have to show real life. And obviously, me being in the fitness industry, a lot of the times I get a lot of people that will come to me who struggle with their own fitness journey. And I am right there with you. So for instance, just because I am a fitness professional, I've been a professional professional fitness professional for 15 years, but I've been teaching group fitness and personal training for 24 years. So I've been in the fitness industry for a long time, but I still don't have a perfect relationship with food. I allow myself to get puffy, but I did build in a strong accountability, and this was actually me deciding to be a coach. When I decided to be a coach was because that now put a stronger sense of accountability on myself, that I wouldn't let my yo-yos sweep as much. So I still will fluff up a bit, and I'm okay with that. Like right now, I'm thicker than I want to be, but I'm now in a progress to move back to a leaner state that I want to be in. I have to have those mental moments for myself, but I at least don't make them get like this. I let you guys know that about me because I'm a fitness professional. I do let my kids eat junk, and you can yell at me, but I do allow them to eat junk. I eat junk. I don't like to work out. If I had a choice to not work out every day, I would not. That's me real life, because I have to choose it. I have to make those choices because I know I should. Because I know exercise is good for me, not just to lose weight, because that's not why I'm exercising. It's a way of life. So yeah, I don't like working out. I don't. It takes. Today I went to the gym and I had to teach a dance class, which was awesome and fun. So I'm fine with teaching dance because it's just so fun. And teaching is great. So tomorrow I teach turbo kick, and I love teaching because it's fun time. So that's a great workout. But then to go lift weights, it's like I had to do everything in my will to do legs and shoulders today. Like I really didn't want to. This is what people need to know about you. Because if you come across too perfect, you're untouchable, and that you're not like them, they're not going to connect with you, and they're not going to want to work with you. So to recap, that beginning thing is do live as much as you can. Every live experience, so that people can see your natural conversation, your mannerisms, your flub ups, and when you don't look so good, and when you have kids yelling and you have to yell at them, and when you have dogs attacking things, like that's what they need to see. And we talked about the first point is do as much live activity as you can to change people's misconception about you. So that doing Facebook live stream, as well as Periscope, as well as YouTube has that option. I just started to dive into trying to get into it, but I have to download something and figure something out as well. So as soon as I have to figure something out, I'm gone. That's why it takes me time to do some stuff. But that's why I like to boil stuff down so that people can really have faster action in their business. And that's it. I'm the Cliff Notes. I got through English class by Cliff Notes in school, and cheat sheets. I'm not going to tell you, though, if I did that through college either, but I did. So that's what we're talking about. How can you change someone's misconception about you? That's one. The second is the type of content that you are putting up has to be real. I don't believe Facebook live stream is available to everyone. I believe that they are leaking it out to public pages. Second thing, put up as much real content as you can. Show people you are real, because they need to see that you fail. They need to see the behind the scenes. They need to see your struggles. They need to see that so that they know that you're not stuck up. Because if you have a stuck up persona, it could be the type of content that you're putting up. And look at your pictures. People think people are stuck up, first of all, if they're good looking, if they're fit, and if they have some success in their life. Usually that's it. But again, not everybody knows exactly what success means, and that could be a complete persona. Because there's a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck and debt to debt, who have the best outfits, who have the best makeup and the best hair, because that's where they spend all their money on their credit cards to put them further into debt. So you can't believe that stuff. So that's the thing to think about. It's funny because I can shop in high-end stores, but my brain doesn't think that way. I still think like a poor girl. And I'm always going to Kohl's to buy my clothes, and my friends are like, stop shopping at Kohl's. I'm like, okay, I got to remember to go buy like good clothes for stage outfits, stuff like that. Like you don't need to look a certain way. It's how you come across, and as much as you can come across as being real. Your face does tell a story. So do you have Resting Bitch Face? Do you ever watch that show? Below Deck is a reality show. And I watch every reality show. I love, not all the ones about the crazy dating ones. I got over those. But I like a lot of the reality shows, and Below Deck is one of them that I love because I used to be a boater. We used to have a boat, And that was my world. We finally sold it like a year ago. The thing is that with the below deck, one of the top stew there, she is what's known as resting bitch face. And that's because her natural face, which mine is as well, naturally curves down. So you may have a bad face in your pictures or just standing there talking with people. You may have judgy eyes. I'm going into the housewives of Beverly Hills. You may have judgy eyes. Judgy eyes are where when you're listening to someone, you look like you're giving them, like, I don't believe you. So check out your face, because sometimes your face might actually be detracting people from you. This has been a trained skill to change your face, especially when you're speaking. Now, I just did a coach training webinar just right before this, doing this Periscope, and it was on a Zoom. And on the Zoom, I was seeing their faces. So if you've ever done Zooms, you see everybody that's on there. And I had to tell them, they didn't have to correct it, but I'm just letting people think in a bigger capacity, in a professional entrepreneur capacity. And many of their faces, while they were there learning and just sitting there, in their comforts of their own home, while I was the monkey teaching, was this. That is a very typical face. So for instance, obviously, I've been public speaking now for many years, but for professionally, it's been since 2000. So 15 years, I've been speaking either from stage or in front of groups of people at a time. When someone's face is like that and you're the speaker looking out, it doesn't matter how many other people are smiling out in the group, that one person is going to draw your attention. And if their face is like this, you think, oh my gosh, they hate me. They don't believe what I'm saying. They think I'm a fraud. They think my clothes look horrible. Oh my gosh, they think I look fat. Like, that's what's going on in your mind while you're speaking, no matter that the rest of the room is smiling. It's your face. So start practicing your face. Now, I have my own conference. It's called the Platinum Edge, and it's coming up in November. And so, of course, I see lots of faces. I just spoke to 26,000 people at our yearly conference. And the face is really something, as a speaker, something that I would have to train you on separately to get over. First of all, you can't focus on that one person. They just have bad face. Got it? Because most of the time, what that bad face is just their natural resting face. But that's now my judgment of them. See what I'm saying? So you may have a bad resting face. You have to start thinking about it, because that's where people can be coming up with your misconceptions. So now let me turn it into the story. So the story why I was thinking of telling you this was because one of my friends is a friend with Chalene Johnson. So of course, they were friends first. So her name is Dr. Michaela Sarno. So Chalene and Dr. Michaela have been friends for a long time. When I came into Chalene's world, which was back in 2000, we came into the gym to do workouts, of course, because I was going to be working for her fitness company. And I met Michaela. Michaela at the time was ripped up, tiny as can be, shredded, beautiful, and tanned, because I like tan, so tan's good by my book, unless it was over tanning. But just super fit, tiny, petite, awesome, like uber successful in California, in one of the rich areas of town, at the rich gym. And that's how I met her. And so I, of course, wanted all of Chalene's friends to like me so that Chalene would like me more. So I was trying to be, of course, friendly with her, but I stayed very guarded with Michaela, because here she was, this uber successful doctor who's super fit, pretty, lives the high life in California. She must be rich. That's what I thought of her. And so this went on for years. And we went on a snowboard trip. When we would do this trip, we would bring our spouses. So one year we were there and I was talking with Michaela, and she was sitting so close next to me. And when she talks with you, she really wants to get to know you. And she was staring me down in my eyes, asking me very deep questions. And in my mind, I was staying very guarded, Because what I knew of this perfect girl who's had the perfect life, who has the perfect body, the cute husband, the money, the kids, perfect. She's perfect. I'm the damaged girl. I'm the one that grew up poor, abused, with nothing, scraping the walls to make things happen, that I didn't want her to know so deep inside of me, because I thought she was going to be evaluating me. And then she would go to Shalene and tell Shalene, my boss and friend, you know why Christine's like she is? Because this is what happened in her life. That's why she's so messed up. That's why she won't listen to you all the time. That's why I kept myself so guarded from her. I didn't want her to get to know me in that personal level. And so my perception of her changed only when I finally heard her tell her story. That's point number 3. Your story has to be told out there. So Shalene puts on a conference. It's called Smart Success. And she had Michaela speak on stage. And that was Michaela's first time speaking on stage to promote a program that she was promoting called an EMDR. So it's a type of therapy, rapid eye movement, to help you process traumatic areas in your life. And so Michaela was speaking from stage for the first time and also going to be selling from stage. And at that time, she told her story. I was floored because her life is insanely horrible by many standards of where she grew up. And I then melted the door because she's just like me. She had a very horrible life growing up, physically abused and other things. That's now how I was able to connect with her, because I saw her different. She was just like me, that she would understand where I've come from, why I'm like how I am, why I was guarded, why I was so strong. That made me go up to her and tell her that. And so where things changed was then her and I were at Brendan Burchard's World's Greatest Speaker Training Conference not this past July, a year ago July. And we were standing in line, and I had to tell her that. I had to tell her that I had this idea of you, that you were perfect, and that if you really found out the real me of what I've come from, not the me now, but what I've come from, that you would judge me, and that you would go and tell Shalene why I'm so messed up in the head. Because obviously we all got ghosts in there. And I said, I thought you were perfect. And she was cracking up because she goes, you thought I was perfect? Oh my gosh, I'm further from that. Like telling me the reality. I told her, I go, but not until you told your story of where you've grown up, I could finally connect with you. And I now feel comfortable to go to you for EMDR therapy. Because EMDR therapy is something Shalene Johnson really promotes heavily, and especially working for her, that's something that she wanted us all to do as well. And I really wanted to do it because, of course, I feel that you need to process through the ghosts in your closets. I really do. So I kept pushing off going to Michaela because I was nervous about letting her really dive deep into that brain. And now that I know that she is like me, I feel so much more connected to her, and I feel so trusting of her. I want to work with her. That's the difference. When people have an idea about you, they will put up a wall. They will keep you at a distance because they don't trust you completely. And not until you can leak your story, your struggles, and putting it out there, they won't know. And they'll keep that idea and keep you at that arm's distance. And that was the biggest eye-opening moment for me. That was a big year for me. That was also the year that I started working with Bo Eason. So Bo Eason is a professional speaker now, used to be a football player, but he will help you. And if you should follow him, if you don't know how to tell your story and get your story out there, then go follow Bo Eason. And he runs an event called Personal Power Story Event. But you can find him. He puts a lot of content out there for free. You can find him on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. But he teaches you the power of your story. And basically, in a nutshell, every time you are teaching something, you tell a story. So if you've noticed with my Periscopes, I can teach you nuts and bolts all day. You won't remember them unless there's a story connected. You won't connect to them unless there's a story connected. Hopefully that makes sense. So those three things are really critical for people to get to know you and want to work with you. So start putting yourself out there that is sharing more of yourself so that people can see the real you. Now guess what? I don't tell all the details, the super uber details of my whole upbringing. I mean, that's a whole laundry list of things. But people need to know where you've come from, where your roots are, where your work ethic is. And that's honestly why when I did speak on stage at our yearly conference this past year, and if you want to know a little bit more about my story, it is on my youtube.com/Christine Dwyer. I don't know exactly what I titled it, but it's my 20-minute TED Talk that I did at our conference this year. And of course, I'm with Team Beachbody. But basically, I'll tell you what it's titled, because you can get a snapshot about who I am and where I've come from just by this video, and why I am like I am. And that was my goal. So when I was going through EMDR and also working with Bo Eason, I really wanted to know why am I like to the point? Why do I drive to be the best me? Now, I don't drive to be the best compared to competing with other people. I want to be the best at what I'm deciding to do. That's it. I don't half-ass anything. If I'm deciding to do something, I decide to do it. It's titled How to Start a Home Business and Avoid These Mistakes. And it's a picture of me with a blue background, and I'm in a coral orange dress. So that will share some of the story of why I am who I am, because it shares where my upbringing, why my work ethic is as it is. To give you an idea, the youngest of 4 girls, my parents divorced when I was 7. It was a very, very abused, physically abusive home and emotionally abusive home as well. But when I was in the age of 4, my dad gave me a shovel and told me to jump into a ditch to start digging a sewer ditch for my grandparents who needed it. So I had the most outlandish, we had like 3-4 acres of yard, and that we had to mow it with that push mower with the blades, not the electric ones, because my dad would pick up the garbage on the side of the road and it would just collect in the backyard and it would never work. But we would mow like 3 to 4 acres with those blades. My dad once did this. It was a summertime, so we were on summer vacation, and me and my sister, we had to go in the backyard on a hot summer's day, and I don't know why, he still denies us to this day. And I have a relationship with him, just so you guys know. It's fine, obviously. That happened, it defined me, I'm fine with that. He got like an army-sized pile of potatoes, taller than me, and had me and my sister out in the backyard peeling them and chopping them up and put them into frozen containers. That's what we had to do. Like, it was higher than 4 feet tall, this pile of potatoes. Like, that's the stuff that he did. But I look back at it now, and even though I hated him, that ruined my work ethic to be very strong. And I value having a strong work ethic, attention to details. So your story needs to be heard. People need to know why you are who you are. Why are you passionate about what you're doing? Why? Because you can sell product. Who cares? What if someone can't revisit the pain and tell their story over and over again? I think you need to go to therapy. So for instance, I have done EMDR therapy, and I'm a very strong person. As I said, I have a relationship with my dad. All my sisters, we all do. My mom has passed since now, but we all have a relationship with him, and it happened. We don't forgive. We don't forget. It just was. It doesn't control me. So in my adult life, I'm 42 years old. I'm fine. I'm like that. If I start having a conversation with my dad and he starts pulling up those antics of questioning my grammar and the conversation, I'll be just whatever. I can leave it because he doesn't control me anymore. And I'm fine. But I went to EMDR therapy because I thought it was really important to process this so that I don't have that deep emotional connection to it. Because there was a lot of moments going into EMDR where I had to bring up some very painful moments, and I can talk about them now and not cry. But in those moments of EMDR, I was crying because of the processing of it and how I relate it to my child and envisioning me as my daughter in that same situation. That was really hard for me to talk about at therapy, and I cried. And in that EMDR helps you process it to get over. And that's where I can talk about those things and it doesn't make me lose it. So I'm going to suggest that. You really can help change people's idea of you by putting yourself out there more. And the only way, again, get live as much as you can. So live streaming, in person, on stage, be okay with that. Your content, you have to let people know of your failures. Let them know of your struggles. And the third, start interjecting stories that relate. And I'm going to give you a bit of advice here, is don't put a horrible story on every teaching point, okay? Because you sharing you shouldn't always be misery. So yes, you have shit that happened in your life. I'm sure of it. But your life isn't always misery for all teaching lessons. So you've learned something and you can share the learning story of it all. Or just the funny story that's connected with it. Like, funny thing happened. This is how I got discovered. Like, tell the story. That's what you want to think about. So your story doesn't always have to be the woe is me, I had a hard life, I was poor. It doesn't always have to be that story. And if you are coming to the Platinum Edge, if you are part of my team, Platinum Presenters, that's actually what I'm going to really help you hone in on and teach you how to do. I'm going to make it super simple pie by teaching you the formula that I've been learning as well from Bo Eason. So hopefully that's been helpful. Nobody wants to live there again. Yeah, that's it. It's like, people don't want to constantly be depressed and hearing about your sad story. Like, it's got to be out there, I think, if you want it to be out there, but that's something. If you want to find out about more of what I do, you can go to livefitoutloud.com. So again, livefitoutloud.com. And that, of course, you can find out more about coaching and me personally working with you as a mentor in the Team Beachbody business. So again, only if you're working directly with me as a personally sponsored coach.